Are you a real estate agent, realtor, investor, or are you in the real estate business and you need new listings and deals? We have a solution for you, and that solution has guaranteed results. How much would you pay to get face-to-face with a homeowner that wants to sell their home? What if you also got their email address and daytime phone number? And what if this homeowner also scheduled you to come to their door at a set time to meet with you? Sound too good to be true? It isn't. And it is 100% guaranteed for you to meet face-to-face with a real homeowner who really needs to sell their home. Not only will you get this remarkable contact system and its 100% guarantee, at no additional charge, you will get weekly coaching, documents, and training on how to get that homeowner and convert them into a new listing. When you purchase, you'll also get a one-on-one walkthrough so that you can start using the system today. Visit www.thelistingmonster.com. That's www.thelistingmonster.com. Or call Diana Ortiz at 213-706-0040. Stop wasting time the old way. Use a monster and get actual results today.
Welcome to the Honish Report, hosted by Lee Honish. The Honish Report is a look at the real estate market and creating effective marketing plans for realtors or investors to get new listings and deals. Your host, Lee Honish, has over 20 years of experience in real estate, banking, and marketing. Over the last 6 years, Lee has developed cutting-edge marketing and was named one of the most innovative marketers in America. With over 1 million views, Lee continues to be an advocate for the entire real estate community. Enjoy today's show.
I feel like I'm the only one saying this. There's an uptick in foreclosure activity. I feel like I'm the only guy saying it. Everything I read in the news is, oh, we're at the lowest levels ever. By the way, nobody's saying, what they're saying is foreclosure activities are at its lowest points since the crash, which isn't really a good statement. We're still 1.5% above what we were prior to the crash. Thank you, Tina. Default properties are still, I mean, let's get real about this, shall we? Let me turn this off. Let me log back in. I mean, we're talking a lot of property, like a lot of property. I mean, it's a staggering amount of real estate, okay? And whether or not people want to admit it, I'm sure banks are doing forbearance agreements and still trying to work out loan modifications. But you want it, 431,847. That's a lot of property. I don't want to sound like a mamby-pamby jerk-off who just is gung-ho about default properties, but are you telling me that in the system right now there's 431,847 expireds in the country right now at this moment? Expired listings are at that same number. Cancels, probates, divorce. Really? Sorry, I'm not buying it. I never will buy that. You can't tell me that in the city of Covina there are 84 expired properties that need an agent on them, right? That's my number, 83. 83 defaulted homeowners, individuals, individual named homeowners, right? You're telling me there's 83 expired listings for me to go after? Knock on their door? Cold call mail? There just aren't. I keep feeling like I feel like I'm crazy. I know you guys are all sort of the faithful and this is the system you're doing already. And I know you guys want to branch out and try it with expired, canceled, probate, and divorce. I'm going to tell you guys all a huge secret about this market right now. You ready? You're not going to like this answer. People are scared shitless. And they don't know what to do. And nobody wants to sell. And they're clinging to their houses. The only reason they're selling their houses is because they have to sell their houses. They're trading up, they're trading down, they're having their house taken away from them. Somebody died, somebody divorced. Expired people are looking for pie in the sky while the market's out of control. We have inventory issues. And agents are still coming online. You know why? Because Standard Press keeps saying, woohoo, real estate market is 100% recovered. You know who's not saying that? Freddie Mac. You want to know why? Because nobody's making any mortgages. I think we're the last game in town. I really do. I was just talking about this, David, just based on the way the market is structured. I think if you're working this niche, you're safe. I think this inventory issue and the fear of homeowners not wanting to sell right now because of who the president is and not knowing what the market's going to do, and Freddie and look, I'm looking at, mortgage originations and why they're all freaking out. Nobody's writing any new mortgages, okay? We might be moving property, but it's being sold cash to investors who are renting properties out. I mean, that's the way of the market. I think you've got to look at people who need to sell their house. That's specifically what we're going to want to talk about in Vegas. I'm not saying I'm going to test out diversification here locally because Kevin is just excited as hell to be a real estate agent right now, to do real estate. He just is. So trying out diverse data and different scripts with the call center and looking for results, and I'm happy to share those results. But again, I know this from doing the one-on-ones, and I'm sure, David, you'll agree with the home loan advocate stuff. Step number one is you got to put up tags. You just got to go put up tags. Just get in the habit. You got to be I almost want to bring Kevin in here to do a rah-rah of, if you're putting out 18 tags twice a week, you're doing great. He's always shooting to put out 15 to 20 tags twice a week, 15 to 20 tags twice a week. He was going a little bit bigger than that, but he's constantly getting appointments. Just even if you're just playing the numbers game. And you've got to have that drive of, let's get in the car and go put up tags. That's where it starts. Wade Huey, thanks again for the informative phone session yesterday. Look forward. Yes, absolutely. I'm concerned about Revo Gateway, Wade. That's why I want to give you different data to test it out. So what's going on with you, David? How does it look on your end of the world? How are short sales?
Short sales are okay. We got, this week's been a little slow, but last week we got 4 or 5 new short sales, so we know that they're out there. And from an overall real estate, remember I'm at the Ventura County, LA County line. For those people who need a reference. And what we're seeing is that listing activity is slowly increasing. And we're getting some calls, and we're doing a couple of listing appointments a week, which is slow for us. But buyer activity is very high in terms of inquiries, but nobody seems to be really serious about going out and writing offers yet. They're just kind of getting their bearings for the new year. So it's active, but not busy. People aren't really engaging yet. I don't know what other people are finding, but like I've generated 100 buyer leads last week and this week, but we're finding very few that really want to engage and go look at property or have a serious conversation about pre-qualified. They're kind of just poking around, maybe getting ready for the spring, summer selling season.
What about Vulcan 7? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, but I haven't engaged with them. I have one of my colleagues that's in a mastermind coaching group that I'm in.
Mm-hmm. For leads.
Who is testing it.
Okay.
Right now, some success. And I haven't really gotten an update in a couple of weeks, so I've been letting him kind of test it and guinea pig it, and if he has some success with it, then I'm probably going to use it.
Karen asks, I'll clean your question up a little bit. So which of your marketing pipelines is currently the most effective for getting listings? Where are you seeing the best leads come from? I know you keep track of those stats.
Yeah, well, of course, my best leads come from referrals. So that's where my last 2 or 3 listings have been referrals. And then the second best is tags, distressed properties, having conversations with them. It's one thing that seems to be really consistent is about 30% of our listings are distressed short sales. And so, And then we do a lot of other things. I mean, we're doing just solds and just listeds and, signs and all the traditional things. But, signs lead to sign calls that lead to presentations that lead to listings. I mean, there's no better advertising than signs. That's so important to me that, that we do open houses almost every Sunday. And I hire somebody and pay them $50 to go out and put up 18 or 20 open house signs instead of 3 or 4 or 5. We're doing 18 or 20 open house signs, and that surprisingly gets calls. It's just really awareness, just reminding people, and they like the aggressiveness of it. They like, people are looking for somebody who's got a strategy beyond putting it in the MLS and praying for a buyer to show up. And so, so there's a lot of little things that we do where we really actively market the property, and the people, people are paying attention, even if they're not calling you. Neighbors are paying attention, even if they're not calling you. And the reason I know this is that months later, after we did we sold the house in a neighborhood, months later we get calls from people who identified us as somebody they wanted to talk to based on a transaction we did in their neighborhood months earlier. And they hung on to the, the just sold card that we did, or just listed card that we did, or something like that. So, for me, there's a direct correlation between the size of my database and the number of transactions that I'm doing per month.
Yeah, I agree. It's funny because I've never
building it and hammered it home, and believe me, I'm not doing anything more than the basics. And the difference with me than a lot of people is I've got the budget, to make sure that I'm doing everything. And if you don't have the budget, I would, aside from referrals, tags are the best way to have conversations with sellers.
I agree. I've been doing one-on-ones lately with some of the coaching students, and I could definitely say and I've said this, there are 3 ways to get listings. 1 is referrals, 2 is marketing, be it new start or referral based, right? And something web-based. You need some element that's web-based. But I would like to ask, how did the commercials turn out? Does it make the phones ring?
No. No, I've got $25,000 invested, and I've gotten just 3 or 4 leads from it. We're actually changing the script and going back into the studio. Well, we're not sure when we get the studio space, probably week after next, and we're going to redo it. And what we've decided to do is, you remember the take on PC versus Mac? Hi, I'm a PC, hey, yes, and I'm a Mac, yes. And then Apple just incinerates them with a particular feature. We're doing a take on that. So we have a buyer version and a seller version, and I think that we made a mistake in producing the commercial that we did. Is we went more for a direct response, offered a free home valuation, and really didn't get into and to the differentiation of what we do versus what other people do. And we've decided to just, redo it, and I'm going to eat the production cost and start all over again. So the ads are still running, and we're getting some branding. Now, I have been cautioned by a lot of people who are smarter than I am via their experience doing TV. And they all tell me it's 3 or 4 months before you really start to see any kind of quantifiable response. And I'm only in my 2nd month, and so I'm committed to the process, and so it almost doesn't seem to matter what the original ad was that we were running, because you're getting you're getting the branding, and there's a seasoning, I think is the term I'm looking for.
Yes, that is correct.
You got to go through with the audience before you really start to get any response. And they tell me that at first they don't want to see your ad and they tune it out, and then they finally say, well, what is this all about? And then they pay attention to it, but it takes 3 or 4 months before you really start getting calls and clicks, that kind of thing. And I didn't